gone to visit with the people at the VLC this year, we didn't want to be behind bars. Because, as you can imagine, the SEC would not want us to give any data out. So we were very quiet about it and so forth, because clearly this is material, because if you really look, we've already added $2 billion to the value of Vertex Pharmaceutical Company. We do remind them that because they have great strides participants, and so we really expect this year a very, very large. Tonight, so you can remind them. We're looking for everybody hit them up, okay? But the point is, and I'm just going to give you a glimpse. It's been anonymized a little bit. All right, this is the data that Dr. Campbell and I saw that knocked our socks off. Now, I've had to eliminate some of the things here, and because I don't want to go to jail and all this kind of stuff. But the fact is, you see two lines here. You see a line that jumps way up there very, very quickly. And then it levels off and it goes on. That is about a year's of FEV1 data from the CF patients. That top line, that jump up there, is what we saw with the FEV1 on the patients with cystic fibrosis. Incredible. After 2 weeks, we saw about a 16, almost 17% improvement in lung function in these patients. And if you look at the bottom line down here, I guess I do have a pointer here. I've got to figure it out. Pointer. And then look at the bottom. There's a project very well. That's the placebo group. That's the patients that weren't taking any drug. They were taking placebo. 2 weeks sustained over a long period of time. Now that's all the data that I'm going to show you, because I'm sort of the lead-in this year. Because tomorrow Preston is going to tell you more of the data. But I'm sort of the lead-in, you know. I'm the short guy, you know, the comedian, and a short guy and a short guy. I'm kind of the short guy, kind of leading in, just to get you excited about what you're going to see more tomorrow when Preston gives his medical presentation. But that was the most profound observation we had ever seen. We knew at that point we had hit a home run. But that home run was reinforced by the fact that some data I'm not showing you today is that the sweat chloride in those patients started to move toward normal. Started to normalize. So that told us we were treating the basic defect in cystic fibrosis. It said exactly what we wanted to do. And it was sustained for a year. And that sweat chloride was changed in that same 2-week period of time. So that was so profound for us in terms of where we needed to go. So, but you know, we are excited. We are very excited about that data we have here. And again, you're going to see more of it tomorrow. But we still haven't crossed the finish line. And so what are the next steps for us? First of all, Vertex is getting this data, they're compiling this data, and they're beginning to submit it to the Food and Drug Administration. I remember back when Toby was presented, the data that had to go for Toby back in 98. They had about 7 garage fulls of data. But now it's electronically submitted. We hope to have the drug approved by next year. Now you all know that this was just for a small group, the G551D mutations. But you also know that usually we have now a phase 2B trial going on with patients with the most common mutation, the Delta 508 mutation. We're in a phase 2B trial on that. Now our goal is to get that trial finished. We should have data by the end of this summer, or mid part of this summer, of whether VX770 and VX809 will be, how effective they will be. Will they lead to this kind of increase? Will they decrease the sweat chloride? And Preston's going to tell you more about that tomorrow, because that's a harder experiment, harder thing to do, because we're trying to do 2 things at once. We're trying to traffic that protein to the membrane, and then we're trying to activate it. This was clearly in the G551D, the activation trial. So, we got to get that application in, hopefully approval next year. Then we got to finish the clinical trials as we move forward. But the other thing that we cannot stop doing is to think about the next VX770, the next VX809, because we're going to continue to complete the clinical, and we're talking about now $100 million increase in our support of the corrector studies, the other kinds of studies that will create our pipeline for the next years, because maybe these will work enough, they may not work enough, but we always know we can always do better. That's what's made this organization different. We're looking ahead. We are going to be spending $100 million over the next few years to continue to sustain and increase the pipeline for the next few years. So those are our challenges that we face, but the opportunities that we have, because we are so convinced that we are on the right track as we move forward here, that we can be very, very comfortable with making those kinds of investments.